Well, hey there, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys have had a good day. Wanted to talk a little bit about something that could be a little concerning. Just a little concerning. But, and hopefully it can get turned around. But before I get into that, if you are new to the channel, welcome. If you enjoy hockey content, hockey jersey unboxings, jersey talk, hockey type news, general hockey talk. If you just love hockey in general, and then I think you're probably in one of the right places. And if that's the kind of stuff you like, it would be greatly appreciated if you were to hit that subscribe button. And hopefully here in the next couple months or so, I'll be able to get the podcast up and running where I can talk about all kinds of hockey news and stuff in a podcast form, because I think that would be a lot of fun. So if you guys enjoy that, hit that subscribe button, and don't be afraid to hit that little bell. Then you'd be notified anytime a new video is uploaded. So with that said, I wanted to talk a little bit about a story that I saw just recently, and it's a little concerning. It definitely, to me, is a little concerning, because television ratings. We thought with the new TV contract with ESPN and TNT and all that, we figured, hey, you know what? Ratings are going to be awesome. They're going to be off the charts. They were last year when they returned to ESPN and that. But this year, they're down 22%. That's a little concerning. And they asked one of the hockey analysts, former player Carlo Koliakovo, they asked him why he thinks they're down, why the ratings are down, and he had some pretty good reasons here, I think. The lacking storylines, with lacking storylines and lacking rivalries. Rivalries, I think, can lead to storylines. Storylines, comeback, players who come back from, serious injury, like Evander Kane, who just recently came back from a very nasty injury, and seeing him, return to the ice and, hopefully he can pick his game back up right where it left off. Stuff like that, storylines. Watching guys like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl just light the scoreboards up. I mean, it's insane. Storylines like that. You're kind of missing stuff like that. No rivalries. He says there's no real rivalries anymore. Which I think, it's... you're still gonna have those rivalries. You've always got the regional rivalries. You've got Calgary and Edmonton. Those two teams will always be butting heads. So there's a rivalry there. But there's not as many rivalries as there was, say, like back when I was growing up. Watching when I was in elementary school, junior high, and going into high school. I remember the rivalry, especially in the late 80s into the early 90s, up until they left for Dallas, with the Minnesota North Stars and the Chicago Blackhawks. Oh my God. You want to talk about two teams who hated each other. Oh, you want to talk about a rivalry. That's a rivalry. You don't really see that anymore. You don't see a rivalry like that anymore. You kind of almost did when Colorado won the Cup last year with with St. Louis and Colorado, with Bennington getting hurt, and then the whole issues, going after Kadri and all that. So you kind of saw the rivalry there, but there's not enough of that. There's not enough of the rivalries like that. And that is a big thing. I think we need to have rivalries like that. They're fun. Rivalries like that are just awesome. They're fun to watch, and they make for compelling storylines. So they kind of complement each other. There's also no real marketing of the stars, like Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, the stars who they make the game tick. They make the game go. They make the game fun to watch. And there's not enough marketing of them. You see in the other sports. You look at the NBA. They market LeBron James like it's going out of style. The way they market him and have been marketing him for years, you'd think he was the god of the NBA. They don't do that with the NHL. They don't, and the stars that they have in the NHL. You should be marketing them like that. You should be marketing Connor McDavid like that. Austin Matthews like that. Sidney Crosby. Ovechkin. Alex Ovechkin. He's on the road to trying to break the all-time goals record. Only the great one, Wayne Gretzky, is standing in the way of that. And, that's a compelling story. Lacking storylines? That's a storyline. That's a storyline that you can capitalize on. And they're not. They're not doing that enough. And you've got to market the stars. You really do. You have to market them. Put them front and center. Put them front and center whenever you get the commercials and all that. Put Connor McDavid. Put Austin Matthews on there. Especially like in the Minnesota Wild's case, put Kirill Kaprizov on there. It's you've got to market the stars, and they're not doing enough of it. Another reason, he says, bad playoff format. He's not crazy about the playoff format. I myself don't mind it, because it's more division based. It turns the first two rounds into divisional rounds, and you're trying to kick up that rivalry, the rivalries again. Some people though would say that it's too boring, because you're getting the same matchups every year. It's looking like right now you basically know the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning are on a collision course to meet in round one again. Now, a lot of people want to see it go back to the 1-versus-8 format, which I can fully see, because then a team like Toronto, you won't get stuck playing Tampa Bay in the first round every year, or playing Boston in the first round every year. You got a chance to maybe play teams like Pittsburgh, like Washington, like Carolina in round one. That could be interesting. But a lot of the reasons why people say that the playoff format should be changed is because, in the 1-versus-8 format, you're not going to get this 110-point team, losing in the first round to a team that's only got like 95 points. That is not true. In the 1-8 format, we saw plenty of really good teams that went down in the first round in the 1-8 format. And and even in the old format, even in the old divisional format before it went to the 1-versus-8, when it was 4 teams from each division, you saw teams that in any other format would not have made the playoffs. 1991, I go to the Minnesota North Stars. They never would have made the playoffs under any other format. But because the way the playoffs were set up that year, they made the playoffs. They had a record of 24, 39, and 14. I believe that's the record. I believe that was their record in 1991. They were the number 4 seed. They went into the first round matchup against the Chicago Blackhawks, who had won the President's Trophy. The point differential was insane between those teams. Guess what happened? Minnesota won that series. And Minnesota that year went on an improbable run all the way to the Stanley Cup final. And that's where the clock struck midnight for them. But you see that no matter what playoff format you get. And just the idea of, that, well, a really good team is not going to lose in the first round to a relatively bad team. So a number 8 seed can't beat a number 1? I look to the 2012 LA Kings. They beat the number 1, number 2, and number 3 seeds in the Western Conference on their way to the Stanley Cup that year. So the whole playoff format thing, you're going to get, no matter what way the playoff format is, you're going to get teams that are going to get upset. You're going to see that more often in the NHL than you're going to see in the NBA, or even in the or in Major League Baseball or the NFL. Not very often in the NFL are you going to get, a number 6 or a number 7 seed that's going to make a run all the way to the Super Bowl. Has it happened? Yeah, it's happened, and they've ended up winning the Super Bowl. But it's not an everyday thing. You don't see that all the time. Like this year in the NFL, the Super Bowl is the 2 number 1 seeds. So it's just the playoff format thing to me is, I don't think it matters what playoff format you have. Some people are not going to like it no matter what way it is. Some people are going to continue to say that, it needs to go back to the 1-8 format because you're not going to get a 115-point team losing in the first round. We've seen, no matter what playoff format that it is, that happens. And that will happen again if it goes back to the 1 versus 8 format. You're going to see an 8 seed beat a 1. You're going to see a 7 beat a 2. It's going to happen. And will it bust some brackets? You darn right it will. So the playoff format thing, I think, it's, it's kind of a toss-up. You're going to get a good team get beat. If you make the playoffs, you're a good team. You don't get a real bad team that's not going to make the playoffs. So, to say that, a bad team is going to, isn't going to beat a number 1 seed is just insane. So the whole playoff format thing, I think, it's, basically to each his own, really. I don't mind the current playoff format. I didn't mind the playoff format back in the 80s. With the way that was, with the top 4 seeds in each division going. I didn't mind that either. I didn't mind the 1-8 format. I thought the 1-8 format was kind of interesting because you'd get those cross-divisional rivalries. You get a team like Dallas playing a team like Edmonton. Teams that aren't in the same division, they're playing each other in the first round. That was kind of interesting. But again, you saw number 1 seeds get bounced all the time in that during the time that it was the 1-8 format. So the playoff format, like I said, it's to each his own, really. Another reason that he said is games are not starting on time. That is definitely a true statement, because you have games that are set to start at, say, 7 o'clock. You've got a game starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is 6 o'clock, Central. So they say the game is supposed to start then, but the puck drop is never at that time. The puck drop is always like 15 to 20 minutes later. So with that happening, the games go later. A lot of people don't like that. Again, me, I could care less. I don't mind games that start a little later. But when it comes to watching them on TV, some fans I think would. And some fans I think do. And it's just, and it's also some of the just this whole starting on time. It's just, you want to start on time, but I think you could have 15 to 20 minute overruns kind of. And I don't necessarily mind it, but like I said, a lot of people might. Another reason why he was also talking about trades, and like trade speculation and stuff like that. What do you really you can't really do much about that. But I think too, and this is a main reason for me as to why that a lot of people are turning things off. Focusing way too much on political issues. Stop focusing on these political issues. These are these are firebrand issues. Nobody watches the sport, and this is why viewership in the NFL was down big time a couple years ago, because they went full political. With the kneeling down and all that stuff, it turned people off. They stopped watching the NFL, and a lot of them have never come back. The NHL is doing too much of that. They're pushing all these different, political issues, which they don't need to do. The whole Ivan Provorov situation. All the players, they're wearing practice jerseys that have the rainbow flag and the numbers and all that. And Ivan Provorov came out and said, "No, I'm not doing that." And so many, he was, the media came out, how dare him, this, that, and the other. It was his choice. He made the choice, and then some of these other people, well, we need to educate him on this. No, you don't. No, you do not. He has his beliefs. He has every right to exercise them. He made that choice. And, a lot of people didn't like it. But I'll tell you what, a lot of people did. Because what happened on the NHL site, within 2 days after that, every Ivan Provorov jersey sold out on that on the NHL website. Sold out. Gone. So a lot of people liked what he did there. And that to me is a big thing. Get away from the political BS. We don't want to deal with that. It's I don't watch the NHL for political stuff. Stop pushing these certain agendas. People do not. A lot of fans don't want to hear it. They don't care. The whole thing. We need to be. We need to be this to the LGBT community. That's all well and good, but you don't have to push it on everybody. Stop pushing the political issues. Because I'll tell you what, I've got a couple of friends of mine who I've known for over 20 years. Some of the best friends I've had. They're gay. Do they push that on me? No, they don't. Do I push me being straight on them? No, I don't. We don't do that because we don't look at things that way. We're friends. We've been friends for 20 years. You know, the one gal, she just lost her partner like about a year and a half ago. Two of the absolute best people I have ever known in my life. They were gay. I didn't care. We never talked about stuff like that. It just is something it never came up in conversation because there was no need. We liked each other. We like each other because of the people that we are. Not because of who they date or who they don't date. You know, it's that to me, it's not that big of a deal. They have to stop pushing those issues. I mean, enough of that. You know, that's another reason why I believe you are turning fans off. You're turning fans off by doing that. Stop with the political issues. Because nobody wants to hear that stuff when they're watching no matter what sport they're watching. They don't want to hear about political BS. And especially for hockey. I don't want to hear that. I mean, if the Philadelphia Flyers wanted to do a thing where, hey, you know what, we want to honor these people, this and the other, okay, fine. But if somebody goes and says, no, I'm not doing that, you don't need to then vilify him for a choice that he made. Don't push it. Don't push the whole political thing. It drives me crazy when I see stuff like that. And especially with people who went and said Provorov he shouldn't have done that and this, that, and the other. I'll tell you what, there are a lot of people that liked what he did because his jersey sold out in 2 days. So I think those are just, those are some definite reasons as to why that the ratings are down. I definitely think what Carlo Koliakovo is saying is right on a lot of aspects. The playoff format, I think, can be either or. The game's not starting on time. I mean, that can be either or too, because they stretch out, they make the game stretch out longer. But to me, I think one of the biggest reasons is this one. The political issues. Those need to stop. Get them out of the game. Get them out of the game. Another reason too, I just thought of this, that Carlo Koliakovo talked about. The ads. The betting ads. The betting sites on the boards, the ads on the jerseys. That's another reason why I think they're losing fans. Fans don't want to see all these ads. I mean, they don't want to see these betting ads constantly. And it's insane that, I mean, we've seen some of the ads that they put on the dasher boards. You know darn well when you're watching the game, if you're there live, that's not there. And I think it turns some people off. And just, the way that they do it on the boards is, I've seen that, and it looks awful. It really does. It looks awful. And fans are kind of turned off by that. The ads on jerseys, I think, from what I was also reading about that, is a big thing too. It's not just the ads on the boards, it's the ads that they're putting on the jerseys. Fans don't like it. A lot of fans don't like it. They don't like it at all. So, there are some things that the NHL does need to fix. Because the big thing that the article said was the reason why the low ratings, it's on the NHL. It's on the NHL themselves. they have to look themselves in the mirror and realize, hey, we're the reason this is a problem. And they need to change, and they got to change some of that stuff. Maybe take the ads off the dasher boards. To me, take the ads off the jerseys. That to me is the biggest thing for me on that. But the biggest reason, I mean, out of all of this, which yes, you know, I mean, you've got to have the rivalries. You've got to market your players. This, you know, some of these are okay. Some of these to me are fine, but you can tweak it a little bit. But to me, the biggest issue, it's this political stuff. Knock off the political stuff. We don't want to see that on TV. We don't want to see, you know, we don't want to see that. We don't want to see people kneeling during the anthem. We don't want to see, you know, people, you know, getting mad because somebody made a choice that they didn't want to wear a practice jersey because of their religious beliefs. That's their choice. That's their decision. I look at it as there were a lot of people might not have liked it, but a lot of people did because they all bought his jerseys and sold out the NHL shop of the Ivan Provorov jerseys in 2 days. That was crazy. So that to me is one of the biggest issues. And, you know, so I mean, there are some issues here, but that one, the political thing, that's the biggest issue to me. That's one of the biggest reasons why ratings are down 22% from last year. Cut this out. Enough with the political stuff. Quit trying to push this specific agenda for a specific group of people. Enough of it. It's got to stop. We want to watch the game for the game. We love the sport. We want to watch the sport. We don't want to see all the political stuff. Let us watch our hockey. That to me is the biggest thing. I want to watch hockey. It's my favorite sport. It's been my favorite sport since I was a little kid. I want to watch hockey. I want to enjoy the game. I don't want to see all this political stuff. It's enough to make your head explode. And that to me is the big reason why that the ratings are down. But again, that's just me who thinks that. I'd love to know what you guys think. What do you guys think is the biggest reason ratings are down? Is it some of these things? Is it the storylines? Is it the rivalries? Is it the bad playoff format? Is it the ads? You know, is it the betting sites and the ads that are on the dasher boards and the jerseys? Or is it the political stuff? I'd love to know what you guys think about that. Because, you know, this is, you know, kind of a hot topic here. And I think some of these, you know, the NHL's gotta sit down and they gotta think about, you know, what can we do differently? You know, what can we do to bring people back to the game? Because continuing to push this stuff, that 22% from last year, it's only going to get worse. Next thing you know, it's going to be 30%, 40, 50%. You've got to change some things. The NHL has got to change some things to get those people back. And to me, the biggest thing to help bring those people back is stop pushing the political stuff. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I will put the link to the Discord in the description. And yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on that. I'd love to know what your opinions are. Love to get a good conversation started on this as to why you think that the ratings are down. And yeah, so hit like and hit that like button if you like the video. Hit that subscribe button. If you really like the stuff, hit that subscribe button. Don't be afraid to tell other people, you know, that, hey, you know, here's this cool hockey channel, you know, go check it out. And yeah, so yeah, if you have not done so already, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.